All right. Here we go. All right, we're back online again. And I just can't stop doing these live streams. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to try to implement this third-party metadata library and see if it can read the audio tags of our audio files and successfully display them. So for people who may not be aware, JUCE's metadata reading facilities are not the most comprehensive. So we've had to look to another solution to see if we can find a way to actually read the metadata of our audio files. So things like the artist, the genre, what else do we have? So artist, album, year, comments, the track, the genre, things like that. So with some help, I've been able to actually link this library successfully to our project. So recently we have started we converted from the producer over to CMake. So in here, with some help from the community, and in particular, Martin, aka Normalized, we've been able to actually bring in this third-party library called TagLib. And this is a library that was created to read audio metadata. So if people are unfamiliar with this particular space, it's actually a very deep rabbit hole that you can go down. And so I started learning some basics of it, the basics of how data is actually stored in an audio format, like a WAV file, and saw that it was going to be extremely complicated to do this ourselves. So decided to go for a third-party library, and TagLib looks like one that is very widely used. And so that's where we are. So going to our project. So currently what we have is a situation where we have this file, this function rather, called load track. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for people. We have this function that we created way back when called load track that allows us to create an input stream where we're able to load a track and put it into our audio player. So I can just demonstrate this for you right now. Actually, I got mine wrong. My target is wrong. So just going to build this very quickly. And yeah, so this is able to load a file, load an audio file, and play it. So it's like your basic kind of bog standard audio player. So I will show you and demonstrate that to you now. And just waiting for that to come up. So here it is. So we can load it just by hitting the button. We load a track. And then track loads, we have this thumbnail that we will probably improve on a little bit later, but it's okay for now. And I can play the track. and I can stop it. But as we can see, there's no metadata that comes in. So the purpose of this session is to actually try to implement the TagLib library so that it successfully displays the artist in the window. So that's where we're at. So luckily, it seems that there is a example in the TagLib repository that looks relatively straightforward to implement. So so we're gonna have a little whirl at this and see if it actually just works out of the box. And if it doesn't, then I may be stuck. So in here we see that we have basically this is the TagLib library. Then what it does is it looks to see that I'm assuming so argv, which is the kind of standard int main argument, which is like a vector of arguments that you would normally put in a command line. So I'm assuming that argv in this situation would be our file path, maybe. So I'm assuming that would be the path to our file. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, if everything is the way that I'm thinking it is in my mind, then it should just kind of spit out these tags. And if it doesn't, then I don't. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens from there. So so that's essentially where we're at. So I'm going to take it that argv, this vector of arguments, is going to be a path to a file, and so let's go with that. So I'm going to move that over to my other screen, and the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can successfully bring in TagLib tag into this project. So I will include file ref.h, which is one of the libraries from TagLib, and then I'm going to include the tag header file as well. That's just really referencing what we have here, this file ref and this tag. So the next step that we're going to do is we're going to go to where our file loads. So here we are here in our load track, and this takes a music file. So if we go to so now what we can do is, I believe file is just a path, is just going to be a path. So we'll go to our JUCE API, and we'll go to the file class. There we go. So so represents a local file or directory, encapsulates the absolute path of a file or directory. Okay, so that's what we're going to try to use to bring into our to try to read this file and pull out the tags. So I'm going to declare a TagLib file ref. So I will just do this here. So let's just see. So we create a reader for the file that in the audio format reader just reads the music file. And So just looking at the sensible place to put this here. So I'm just going to try to do this in the same function and then later on, if it works, then and we can actually and this actually functions, then what I will do is move it out to its whole separate function. So let's see. So we want TagLib file ref. I'll call this tag reader. And then what do we need here? And then in here looks like, or I'm going to assume that this is just a path to the file. So I could just say music file. And then we could just essentially probably copy this nearly line for line. So what is it? No matching constructor. Okay, so automatically already we got some problems. So I'm going to assume that this is because this is a JUCE file, and that what we need here is a string. So there should be, I would imagine there's some sort of there's some type of function that, so we got file name with a get file extension, get relative. So we got, here we go, const string get full path name returns the complete absolute path of this file. So this may be a problem because this is going to return a JUCE string that we're going to, but the question then becomes, what does TagLib file ref want? So if we go into the documentation here, let's see. So file name. So it says that it wants a file name. So what does a file name look like? So this is a const char star. Okay, so it would appear that what we're going to need to do is change a JUCE string to a char star, a const char star. So let's see if we can do that. So let's just start off with, let's go back to where we were. So we got music file, get full path name. And then now it's a JUCE string. And is there a function that maybe changes it to a char star? Let's see here. Returns a pointer to a, is that what we want? I'm going to first try to so it's get full path name. Let's go back a step here. So it returns const string reference. So, okay, so let's see here. So it's not a pointer. So we got toStud string. And then the one that we want is, so I don't know what wchar underscore t is. I'm wondering if that's what we need or not. To wide char pointer. I'm going to just try it for now and see if that works. No, not quite. It's not going to. So let's just Google. So if I get it to a stud string, then I can get it to a char pointer. So stud string to char pointer to char star. Okay, here we go. Using const cast operator. Const cast char star. Okay. This looks like this might work. So I could get it to a stud string, and then what I can do is const cast as char pointer. All of that. All right. Okay. Const cast from a stud string to a char pointer is not allowed. Okay. So, all right, so let me go back a step here. Okay, so got auto path as string equals this. This is const, right? And then, all right, here we go. So const, so let's see here. Get a non-const. Okay, so we both, so wait. So let's look at this a little bit closer. We both know, we know that both string data functions return const char star, which is what we want. So what is string stood string data. Stood string data. Aha, maybe this is what we need. Returns a pointer to an array that contains, so this is exactly what we want. Okay, so can I just do this? Path as string data. Is that no, it's not quite right. So, all right, let's go back to the string class reference and go to, just going to search data here for a second. So we got to hex string. Char pointer UTF-8. That's what I think. That's what we want. Char pointer UTF to UTF-8. Okay. So let's just try that now. Yes, it looks like it's not complaining. Yes, build succeeded. Okay, awesome. I'm not sure where these warnings have come from. That is a little bit weird. What is that from? Okay, that's not from my stuff. Okay, cool. It's not me. Great. Okay, so we got this. Now let's go back to, all right, we don't need that CMake file anymore. And then we can say if this is not null, and if there's tags, if there is a tag. All right, so we can say if tag reader not equal to null, right? Oh, is null. So they have is null. So if not tag reader is null, and tag reader at tag, then we go like this, and then may be able to just do this, just copy all of this. Just going to try all of that. So TagLib tag equals tag reader dot tag. And all of these need to be std. Go. All right. So let's try this baby out, see if it works. All right. So I'm going to load this wave. Let's see what happens. Boom, we got something. All right. We got something, but we got nothing. So it doesn't give us anything, right? Okay, but that's okay. It's giving us something. Okay, so that's a start. So let's take a look. Let's try to load another track. So let's try this test track. Okay, this is good news. Test track, artist DJ at work, that's me, album, and so let's see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this for a second. So interesting. So so it loaded the MP3 fine. That was great. It didn't do it for the wave, but what I'd like to do is open up Serato for a second and see if it opens for, or if it shows metadata for the same track in wave format. Okay, so okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to edit this one here, 160 BPM rock track, and I will say this famous artist, right? And then let's look at the desktop. And we had alibi, right? So now I'm going to edit that tag. And then I'll just put my famous album and see if that actually works. So now I'm going to exit out of here. And let's build it again. Here we are. Load. Alibi, and fingers crossed it'll actually give us some stuff. Yes, woo! It actually works. Fantastic. So that's really cool. Okay, so let's see what else it has. And then we can come back and then we can try to. Okay, so let's see what all this business is. So we got tags, which is the file properties. Then it goes, so this is going through a list of the properties and it's listing them. Stood set W, never heard of that. Then this is some type of nested iterator that is. Okay, so I don't think any of them. I'm curious just to see what this actually prints out. Should we just try it and see what? I mean, I'm more interested in this. If so this is like the audio properties, the bit rate, sample rate, channels, and length. I don't know. Like JUCE already kind of gives us to that, doesn't it? If I remember correctly. So that's not so important. We could probably just use I don't know, but then again, kind of keeping, wouldn't really make sense in code to have some of it reading the data from JUCE stuff, JUCE facilities. It might look cleaner if we just have it all using TagLib. So I think maybe we'll do that. So so let's just get all of that in there. So now we just need to correct all this business. And then let's see what else. What else do we want here? So this is, again, tag reader. So making sure that tag reader is not null. Tag reader audio properties. This is once again going to be tag reader. So just getting some indentation here. This will be stood set W. I'm not sure what this. Set fill, so I'm assuming that's a stood function as well. And this should be stood. All right. So then this is inside this. So go like that. Like that. Okay. Now let's build and let's see what happens. Build succeeded. Load. We'll load this. Okay. So this is pretty cool. It has pulled up everything just the way we want it. That's awesome. So now so I think that now what we can do is we can now move this out to its own function. So we got this load metadata. This is where we were trying to use JUCE's metadata gathering facilities. And what we can do is we can now pull this out to its own function. So what we will do is this will come in here. I will just pull all of that out, and then we will do read or load metadata. And this is currently taking a JUCE audio format reader, but I'm going to change this to a const JUCE file. So here we go. Which means that I'm going to need to change the function in here. Where is it? There it is. Okay. The metadata of our player. Okay, so Let's just make sure that that functions as it did before. Oh, build failed. Okay. Oh, forgot to. Okay, now we should be fine. Okay, like I said, those warnings are not mine. Those actually come from the library, and let's just see what happens. Okay, great. So it's loading all of this stuff properly, which is awesome. Okay, so now we just need to get it over to our label. So I need to come back to this audio metadata and remember what this is. So great. So we have this struct that I created with the artist name, track current time, and track length. Okay. So now we just need to populate that with our information. So just take this out of here. And now we go down to here. Now I can just start putting this in here. So if tag reader, so here we want to have something where if it has a tag, then the track name equals the tag title. It doesn't, so let's just okay. So we'll pull this into like an else here, right? Else. There we go. And then metadata dot artist name equals we'll just put unknown. And if we're successful here, then we want it to say metadata track name equals. So we got tag title. So this is a string, but it's going to want a JUCE string. So we see that we're getting this no viable overloaded because metadata track name is a JUCE string, tag title is a std string. So I think I should be able to do this like so. Yeah. No matching conversion for okay. So let's see. Oh, I thought I was going to be able to do that. So let's go to string title equals can I do this? Auto title equals, can I do this? Then title. Yeah. Oh no, no matching conversion for functional style. So this is a TagLib string. Okay, so let's tag a TagLib string. Okay, so let's go back out into, I'm going to do Command Shift F, and I'm going to look for TagLib string. And okay. Okay. So we got okay. So there should be a function here to so we got copy from UTF-16. So I'm looking for a function that to C string, to W string, find, split, starts with, append, is empty, is null. To int. There should be, I'm going to make a wild guess and think that there should be a to so that gives me to C string. To C string. Okay. We're getting there. So C string to C string to stood string. Okay. C string to stood string. Or is the C string a okay. Blah blah. Okay. Is assigned through a C string. Okay, cool. So I can just do stood string title. Yeah. Well, does that work? Okay. I can't do all of this in one, can I? No. I'm pretty sure that will not. Yeah, I was about to say, Okay. It's cool though. Type. So title string. I'm going to just get these into the right, try to get it functioning, and then, okay, variable title will be JUCE. Variable. Okay, this may work now. Use title string. We are getting there. Yes. Yes. Okay. But I can't, yeah. Tag title. Just thinking if there's a way that I could do this in one line. Okay, it's all right. We got stood string. Just construct the JUCE string straight from the C string. I don't think that it let me do that. I mean, it would make sense if that worked. Ah, yeah, it did work. Oh, it's constructed from a G string, a C string, not a G string. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Martin. Okay, so now we go artist name equals JUCE string tag artist to C string. Okay. All right, and then this is just harmonious. Okay, so if all of this works, then we should, this should show up properly. So load. Okay, so loaded the title, but not the artist. Okay, cool. So now we need to look at where metadata and the display meet. Okay, so we're going to view, audio wave player view. And we've got track artist and track length. And I'm going to, so now we have this update. Here we go. So as we can see, the track length and the track name are set, but not the artist name label. Set text. That's metadata, artist name. Just don't set notification. And now we should be good to go. Load. Boom, it works. Let's just try another one just to make sure that, boom, nice. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. So that actually works. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Okay, now I just noticed that something had happened, that something's happened. Connection. What is this? No error handler for XPC. Okay, but it's still exited with 0. Okay. Not sure what that means. That concerns me. Just going to Google this quick and see if anything comes up. Not sure why. So it's saying something about a VPN. I'm not using a VPN. That's weird. There's a connection between the device and the Apple ADE service. Not sure what that is all about. Weird. Okay. Anyways, I'll let that be for now. Awesome. So great. So now we have the file displaying properly and loading the metadata, and then we can. So now, let's see. So how long have we been online? We've been online for about an hour. I'm wondering if we should venture into making a track list class that lists all the tracks in a directory. I mean, that sounds like fun, right? Shall we? So I'm just thinking of how. I mean, this feels like something that could be going down a very deep rabbit hole. But maybe a fun rabbit hole. Okay, so let's think about this. A track list. So if we wanted to make a list of tracks in a directory, there is something in the JUCE API. So let's see here. Let's see. So I went into I looked for list, and of course 90 things came up. So let's see what. So got list box model. Directory contents list. Directory contents list looks interesting. File list component. Table list component, never heard of that one. And list box. Okay, so all of these look kind of interesting. This looks pretty interesting. A list of items that can be scrolled vertically. I mean, that sounds kind of like what I want. Okay. To create a list, you'll need to create a subclass of list box model. Subclass used to drive a list box. Okay. Seems like an interesting option. Table list box. a table of cells using a table header component as its header, okay? File list component. All of these look like they're inheriting from similar places. So file list component is a type of list box. So a component that displays the files in a directory as a list box. And this looks kind of interesting. This implements the display contents, directory contents display component. So it could be used in a file browser component to attach a listener to it. Okay. All right. So then we have a class to asynchronously scan for details about the files in a directory. Okay. I mean, one thing that I'm thinking is that we're going to need, whatever we do, we're probably going to need to roll out some custom functionality. So maybe this could just be a starting point and just try to get something set up. And then from there, we can go back and see how we can extend off of it, because we want to have, we want to be able to display not just the name of the file, but we want the track name, the artist name, all of those things. I mean, I'm almost wondering if it would be interesting just to start something from scratch and just see if we can just roll out our own using a couple components. I mean, it feels like it could be a fun project just to sketch it out and see if we can see if it it'd be a cool learning experience, I think. Yeah. Table list box using a table header component. So let's see what a table header component that displays a strip of column headings for a table, allowing these to be. I mean, this looks pretty like comprehensive, actually. Component that displays a strip of column headings. Yeah, I mean, this looks pretty good. Okay, so let's see how to set this up. So this uses a table list model. Okay, so let's just see what that's about. Yes, okay. One of these is used by a table list box as the data model for the table's contents. Okay, this sounds pretty close to what I need. Okay, so we've got table list box. So this is not quite enough, I think, because this just displays the files as a list box. So that's not quite right. This looks pretty good. Okay. I mean, let's just try it, right? Let's just try. Let's just see if it actually works. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to need to do. This is interesting because this is my first time actually doing this. So I'm going to need to add some new source files for my CMake. So let's and recreate the add these two source files. So the question, so now my question becomes, okay, do I create those in my Xcode project, or do I create those in my, do I need to create those in my source folder and then add those to my CMake list and then rebuild the entire thing? So if I'm thinking of this as a, if I'm thinking of CMake as replacing the producer, then the answer would be the latter, that I need to create new source files from scratch in my source folder, then rebuild everything, and yeah, do it like that. I think that's going to be the way to do it. So I'm in my command line. Let's see, and if anybody has any suggestions, then I'm open to hearing them. So okay, so we are in our command line currently in JUCE 2 app. I'm going to do cd source. Oh, why is that not cd source? Oh, source with a capital S. We can just ls this, and we have an audio. So we have all of our classes here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a directory. I'm going to call this, let's see, what shall we call it? Shall we call it playlist? I think playlist sounds like a good playlist, or track list. Track list could be a good one. Track list feels like a, I'm going to call this track list. CD into there. And now I'm going to make another directory. And I'll call this data. I'm going to make another directory. I'm going to call this view. And this is just synchronizing with what I have for my other source tree. So I have data, state, and view. I'm going to make another directory, and I'm going to call this state. Okay. And now if I open this, this is what we have. This is what we have so far. Let me come from this. So if we have source, now I have a new source folder called track list, and then there is data, state, and view. Okay, so let's start from, so it feels like a sensible place to start would be from this table list box class. So this is the actual visual side of things. So this is inheriting from the component class, which is all of JUCE's visual classes. And so I think we're going to start from the view. So I'm gonna go back here. I'm going to CD into view. Now I'm going to do touch, which means I'm going to create a file, and I want to keep with the naming conventions here. So I called it a view. So so this is going to be track list view dot H. Are these H or HPPs? Just trying to keep everything as simple as possible. H, so that's a H. Now I'm going to do touch track list view dot CPP. And now what we will see when we go in here into the view is that we now have two new source files. So nothing is in them, but they're now there. Okay. Now the only thing is that I now need to, I think, as far as I'm aware, I'm going to need to rebuild my project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to CD back source, so CD one more time. So that brings us back to our main repository. Then I can do open CMake list.txt. So now I've opened this. Okay. Some people don't like to use the command line. I personally like to use it. And now I can actually, the way that I have it in my CMake's list is that it will actually create a source tree in my project from just looking in my source folder. So now I can do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my CMake builds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all the stuff in my builds folder and then just run this command. So that's rebuilding everything. So it's going to be rebuild my Xcode project and bring in the new source files. So this would be, if you were using the producer, this is the equivalent of you going into the producer, creating some new source files and saving and open in IDE. Okay, except it's going to take a little bit longer. It's going to take a little bit longer because I'm pulling in JUCE. But Martin, I just saw that Martin had said in the chat just to run the CMake command, but don't wipe the build folder. So oops. So at least I know that for the future that I don't need to wipe the entire build folder to actually do this. So yeah, this is going to take a second, but it looks like it's doing a lot of cool stuff. I feel like I'm making a significant step in the software, my software development journey here, journeying from Producer to CMake. And now we have our Xcode project. And so now we should have our new files here, track list view. And as we can see, there's absolutely, positively nothing in there. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy just pragma once. Okay. That just means that if we have an include and it's already been included in one of the files that's already been built, that it won't include it twice. Okay. So the next thing that we need to do is we want to bring in this table list box. Okay. And so we're going to need the JUCE GUI basics include the header file. So this will be JUCE, but hold on, what is going on? It's not completing my it's not doing autocomplete, which concerns me here. Okay, what has happened? Because if I go into here, and I include, then this has given me access to JUCE, all the JUCE libraries. So this alerts me that there may be a problem. Yeah. So why is that not working? Okay, let me just try to include it and see what happens. So this would be JUCE underscore, let me just go back in here. So this is the one that I want. And then I will do class track list view. And I'm going to make this a JUCE component. And then I'm going to do private. And then in here, I'm going to declare a table list box, JUCE table list box. I'm going to call this a list box. And do I need to, of course, oh no, I don't. These are optional. So I'm just going to try to build this. I don't even know, because I'm not including this in any other, I'm not including this in any other files yet. So I don't even know I don't think that it's actually going to compile this yet. So I think what I need to do is I'm going to now go to my main component. One thing that I will say about moving to CMake and making that transition is it does mean that you need to start really understanding what's happening. So let's see. So it does see track list and data, or no, view track list view.h. Let's just see if I can actually initialize it. It's not going to actually even say anything yet or do anything yet, but I'm just doing this. I'm just initializing this object to see if there's a problem that. No, it succeeded. Interesting. Okay. So I was just thinking that I thought it was a little bit weird that I wasn't getting any autocomplete on these files, but I don't know why that's happening. That's a little bit weird. But anyway, let's keep pushing forward and see where see how far we can get here. So we got track list view. I'm going to create a constructor. I'm going to use a couple of the JUCE component class functions and override those. So I'm going to start with just void resized and just override that, because that's where we're going to actually set the bounds of the track list view. And then now I'm going to just set up the constructor here. So I need to include tracklist view.h. Tracklist view.h. Well, at least it sees that. I want this like this. And then we will do void tracklist view resized. This. So now we have created a couple functions here. And now let's take a look at, I'm very curious to see if I can just get something visual on the screen. So table list model is the data source. So that would be something that would go into the data part. And then we have the header component. So let's just take a look at what that looks like. Okay, cool. So this looks like something pretty simple that we could just set up really quickly and just see if we can get something visual on the screen. And so this displays a strip of column headings for a table, allows these to be resized, dragged around, etc. Okay, so okay. So should I just try to add this to class? So this is table header component. So JUCE table header component, table header. So one thing that's encouraging is that I'm actually seeing autocomplete now, which is nice. Maybe it just took a second to catch up. And okay, so we have this function called add column. So I'm assuming that since it's asking for width that I'm just thinking whether this is like something that I would add in the constructor, or so. Man, let's just add it to the constructor for now. So I'm picturing a scenario where eventually you're going to want to have where the user can add or delete or add or remove a column, right? So that is probably why it's set up like this. So so let's see here. So I'm just taking a look at some of the functions down here. So we'll just try to add two. We'll just try to add two columns, right? So this is table header, add column, And the column name will be track. What is this column ID? So let's take a look at what that is. An ID for this column. The ID can be any number apart from 0, but every column must have a unique ID. This is used to identify the column later on. Okay, that's all good. So this one will be 1. And the width, let's just set it at 30 pixels, right? And then we will do table header at column. This will be artist. And this will be 2. And the width will be 30 again. All right. Then let's see. Now, how do we associate that with the table list box? This table list model set header. Okay, and it wants a unique pointer to a table header component. So it looks like table header component needs to be a unique pointer. Okay, no problem. So now we are just going to wrap this in a std unique pointer. And then let's see. Set header. Oh yeah, these need to be arrows now. And then got list box set header, table header. Yeah, just curious what this does under the hood. So I think I need to initialize it. So yes, call to implicitly. Yeah, so we need to do, we just need to initialize it. Table header equals std make unique. And this is a JUCE table header component with, and it doesn't need any arguments. Okay. And now, call the implicitly deleted copy constructor. Is that right? All right, what did we miss here? What if I initialized it? Call to implicitly deleted copies. The unique pointer to call to implicitly deleted copy constructor. It needs to be moved. Pretty sure that's what I want here. Yes. Yes, that's what it was. Okay, let's look at why that was again. So yeah, you cannot copy because I'm trying to pass it by value, which would make it a copy. That's why I needed to move. So that just Cool. So that's good. And then so now I've done that, and then I need to do add and make visible list box. And then I'm going to do list box set bounds. And then I will do get local bounds like that. And then what I'm going to do is just to see if it actually, this is a trick that I really like to use a lot, is I will override void paint, not point paint, JUCE graphics. So this is our paint method. And then what I'll do is I'll just draw a white rectangle around it just to see if it actually displays it all, right? So we got void, track list view, paint, all of that business. And then here, then we will do set g.set color, and I'll just set the color to white, JUCE colors white, then G draw rect. Actually, I will just use the other version of this that allows us to just draw it around the entire component, get local bounds. And then in my main component for now, I'm going to just go down here. I'm just going to comment out the audio, the waveform view for the moment, and just see if I can copy in the track, just bring the track view into here. Track view, set bounds. And then let's see, we will do it 10 pixels in, and we will set it from, let's just set it like this. Right. So we'll do 200. Let's just see if something shows up. Ideally, what would show up is something that has okay, so nothing. Oh, I need to add and make it visible. Add and make visible track view. Okay, I'm curious to see if the columns display or not. Okay, and they do, sort of. So we see that we have some columns that are displaying. You know, they're only 30 pixels wide, so, and we see that they're in some sort of crappy gray color, but this is progress. This actually shows that that we have something here. So so if I go down to track, if I go down to the track list view, and let's just set this now to, I don't know, 80. Let's try 80. 80 pixels wide for the track and the artist. And now we see that we have indeed some columns for track and artist. So pretty cool. So now if we just add, let's do add column, and this will be length maybe. This will be 3, and then 80. And what's really awesome about the TagLib library is that there's actually a tag writer as well. So if we want to get really fancy about this, we can actually add that info in. So, okay, so we have track, artist, and length. Cool. That's like, I feel like we've made some progress here. The only thing that is a little bit strange is that I don't see the rectangle, but that's because the rectangle is getting painted and then the list box is getting painted over it. So that's not such a huge deal. Should I make this black just to I'll just set this to fill all. That should make our background black now. It doesn't, but doesn't make our background black, which is, oh, it's because this is the reason is that because this is a list box component, which is going to be the default. I would have to override the list box look and feel methods to change the color of this, but I can go back and do that later. But this is progress. This is nice. I think this might be a good stopping point. So what I will do is I'm going to go back to this main component, and I'm going to now just put the waveform view to the right of the audio player. So I will do audio player 1, get let's see, player view, get right plus pad, and then I will make this settings view, get bottom plus pad. And then this should put our waveform now to the right. Okay, nice. So now if we load this, I feel like we've done quite a bit of work today. So we've now got a waveform view. We've now got a the name of the track, and successfully got metadata in here. We've successfully set up a list box where we will populate this with our track names, artist names, and song lengths, and we will go from there. I'm very curious, now that I'm on a roll, I'm like, man, do I want to stop here? Because I feel like I want to, I would like to try to get some information into the into this table list, but I'm wondering if that may be biting off a little bit more than I have time for today. So I'm just taking a very quick look. So we got paid cell, refresh component for cell clicked. Yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. We got a message from Kyle JUCE, said, currently in university working on a DJ app with JUCE for one of my projects. I've been watching loads of your videos to help in the process. Just wanted to say thanks. Thank you for watching. That's really awesome to hear. And I'm glad that the videos have been a help. It's been a learning lesson for me, and it's really cool that that it's been helpful for you as well. So yeah, so we've done some really nice work today. As we said, we got the TagLib library actually working, actually pulling in the metadata from the from the audio file. And if I can go back to where that was, that's down here. So we've used TagLib to bring the metadata into the project. We've used that to properly display the metadata on the audio track itself. Then we started getting the list box component, and what we will do in our next tutorial after this is get the track metadata displaying properly within the list box. So yeah, so that's cool. Like I said, this is an open source project. This is on my GitHub. The link to this is in the video description. So yeah, enjoy it. So I'm going to just go ahead and commit this to the repository. So -m implemented TagLib to get audio metadata and started track list component. Then get push -u origin main. Boom, there it is. Yeah. So Kyle, so we got some comments. So Andrew says table list box already has a header in it. Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay, interesting. Maybe we'll do that very quickly, actually. Just get rid of that separate header component and just simplify that very quickly as the last thing. So thank you to Andrew for that tip. So I can actually get rid of this table header. And now we can just change this to list box get header and then add column. And then we will do that for this. Oh, this just needs a dot operator. So it's no longer a oh yeah, and this is a function, so we need this now. Yeah, and now we should be good to go. Boom. Yes, thank you, Andrew. That is, and then I don't need this anymore. Well, that makes it much cleaner. So there we go. And boom, we have the same result now. Awesome. So the list box component actually has its own header, which is really awesome. Thank you very much, Andrew, for that. And great to see, Kyle, that you just finished what we're doing. So what I'm doing now, that's really awesome to hear. And glad that it's been helpful for everyone. So I'm just going to do a very quick commit just for that small little fix. So git add, git commit, fixed list box component, and git push -u origin main. And there we go. Cool. Kyle says, I'll join you for the next one to see what you can implement. In my version, I can add and remove tracks from the list box and add tracks from the library to the audio player. Awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. Cool. This is really cool. This has been a great experience. Feels like it's been a successful session with a lot of stuff done. Thanks for tuning in. I might come back tomorrow for another one because I'm anxious to implement that track metadata into the list box. So everybody have a nice day, and speak to you soon.